have some breaking news here.
Uh-oh.
Mike Thomas just tweeted out that he's going to miss the rest of the season on Twitter. This is from his own account.
Okay, I'll read it as it is written out. This is from Mike Thomas's account. I've always been a man of faith. In these past few months, my faith has been truly tested. As many of you know, early last season, I injured my ankle and worked extremely hard over the next few months to get back in time to finish the season. Unfortunately, the rehab didn't go as planned, and earlier this offseason, it was apparent I would need to have procedure to repair the injury. Since then, the team and I have worked diligently, day and night, to rehab and get me back on the field. Unfortunately, there's been another small setback, which we will have to address. To my displeasure, I will not be able to make it back in time for this season, but will do everything in my power to get back to the player I has always been. I know God doesn't make mistakes, so I will continue to follow in his path and can't wait to be back on the field in front of the best fans on the planet. So that hurts. That hurts. That is, it's unfortunately now, and we can talk about it from kind of how I think Saints fans are going to feel about Mike Thomas. I still really like him, but it does hurt for the second year in a row now where his return, you've been kind of hoping for like this golden parachute, right, that's going to come in or this golden bandage and kind of like solve a lot of the issues, put a salve on a lot of the issues that you've had. And for the second year in a row, it just doesn't look like that's gonna happen, Jake.
Yeah, it's a lot to unpack here. Obviously,
it's
going to probably be a full segment of what this means, not only for Michael Thomas moving forward, what it means for the Saints. The trade deadline has come and gone. You weren't able to make a move. This news comes only a day after that, so the timing of it is something we need to talk about. And obviously, this is not a good thing for the New Orleans Saints.
Also, again, interesting, I tweeted out who would return first, Zion Williamson or Mike Thomas. 1,000 people voted, 73% said Mike Thomas. So in terms of being unexpected, while you will find a small minority that said, like, I told you he wasn't coming back, for the most part, we all thought he was. And this is, I will say this. I got a little disconcerted with Nick's answer on Mike on Monday. Because he was very kind of down sounding on it. And I did maybe get the vibe there was something that he knew that maybe we didn't fully know that he couldn't go with yet. And I can't help but wonder if maybe this was it.
Nick also posted kind of a cryptic tweet a couple days ago when he was talking about getting another receiver to help out Callaway, Traquan, and everybody else. He did not mention Mike Thomas.
Yeah, there you go. So maybe a little bit of the breadcrumb trail was there. All right, when we get back, let's go ahead and we'll continue to break this down. So here we are back on Off the Bench, and we are reacting live to the Mike Thomas situation. Let's go around the room and let's pick our brain. My reaction, this is certainly very bad, but it's kind of akin to how I reacted to the Jameis Winston news, okay? I do think that it lowers the ceiling. I think that's pretty hard to escape in terms of who this team could be. But I also look at Vegas. Jameis went down the other day. Vegas upped their odds despite that, to win the NFC South. And you could say it's just because of a big win. Well, then why did the Titans lose odds when they got their big win? Because Derrick Henry means more to that team than Jameis meant to the New Orleans Saints. So in the same vein, yeah, this does take away from your ceiling a little bit. I'm not saying your odds are going to go up, but this Saints team's strengths ultimately do lie outside of that offense of Mike Thomas. This is a Saints team that has an incredible defense, and that fights their ass off, and finds scrappy ways to win. Now, where does that winning end? What point does it get you? That's not for me to say. I'm going to still enjoy the ride. It's a huge bummer, but I'm not it's weird. In almost any other Saints season, it would feel so much worse. But in the context of this year's team, it does not feel as bad as I actually thought it would.
So if you started the season with Michael Thomas and you got like 3 games in and then this is news, that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
If you're trying to find a positive in this, is they haven't counted on Michael Thomas this entire year. And I would bet you if you ask people inside that building and you had some truth serum and you're like, hey, tell me exactly what you think, there's probably a lot of people in that building say, I never thought Michael Thomas was going to come back this year. I think you would really have that conversation. Just the way that was playing out, the feeling of it really kind of moving forward. Where is he at? When's he going to come off the PUP list? So all those things. So that part of it, you've done this so far without him. Like, this team has created their identity, and it didn't include Michael Thomas. Not to say that if he was added to it, he would be a cancer and he would be this, that, or the other. I mean, he might have elevated their play. He's obviously one of the highest paid players in the league. But you figured out who you are without him. So it's not like you had him and lost him. Like, this team, the 2021 Saints, they've been created in a different mold than having Michael Thomas on this offense. They've been a team that plays elite defense, makes enough plays on offense. They're a team that likes to run the football. Their best player is their running back, so that's what they're going to do. So from that aspect, it's not a huge, huge deal in the fact that this team was already built knowing he wouldn't be there. Now, getting him back would have been some great juice. Let's see if the chemistry would have happened. It's helping out a quarterback in Simeon or Taysom, whoever it might be, that needs all the help they can get. So obviously that part of it as well. But at least the Saints have been a really good team so far without his services.
Yeah, exactly. It's not good. There's no way to say this news is good, but it's not as bad as you once would have thought it would be. Mario, what was your reaction to the news?
Oh, that's a good point by Jake. That makes me feel a little bit better. At least the guys are accustomed
We
to
won't
it.
get into specifics, but Mario was a little down during the break.
I was very down.
A little down during the break.
This lowers the ceiling significantly for me. And like I said, the coaching staff has done such a great job manufacturing offense. You guys know there's no bigger fan of Marquez Callaway than this guy. But not having Mike Thomas back is huge. The Saints not having that dimension, not having the slant routes. You saw the film study by Nick the other day about the Saints not attacking other areas of the field. And they had success against Tampa Bay, but realized that they're down 3 starters in their secondary. Carlton Davis isn't out there. Murphy Bunting isn't out there. And I don't know how far they were going to go with Michael Thomas, but this definitely lowers the ceiling significantly. And eventually, you're going to be limited by their passing game.
I mean, we're saying a lot of the same things. I think our differences maybe lie in some, as always, the devil's in the details, right? I do think it lowers the ceilings. I think specifically on the word significantly, I don't know where I fall.
The strength of the team is still the defense and your head coach. That's going to possibly get you double-digit wins and put you in the playoffs. But eventually, you're going to need that wide receiver of Michael Thomas's caliber. I mean, that's why they pay him so much money. He's the highest paid player on the team, second highest paid. That's for a reason.
I mean, that's who is hard to argue against. Danny, what is your reaction?
I mean, yeah, obviously it sucks, but they never, just like Jacob said, they never thought he was going to be back this year. So, and they just beat the defending Super Bowl champs without Michael Thomas and a third-string quarterback. So I think they'll be fine. I think
Have their secondary.
Yeah, Hold the Mayo has, and look, Antonio Brown's how Gronk leaves after 6 plays, and Brady still did throw for 375 and 4 scores, but we'll talk about that. The Saints defense has been a bit odd this year where, like, Jeff Duncan wrote about this. It's an elite pass defense. We would agree with that, right? I mean, for the most part. Yet, they're actually 22nd in the NFL in terms of passing yards given up. Now, the thing is, though, they're tied for the league in interceptions. They're second in the NFL in pass deflections. They are holding quarterbacks at the second lowest efficiency rating in the league. So they may be giving up some more yards. But in a lot of these games, too, the Saints have kind of been in leads, like kind of big leads, where other teams have been forced to throw the ball. So maybe there's just a higher overall volume. But on a play-to-play efficiency rate, they remain a very good pass defense. That's all a side note. I think Hold the Mayo supports a lot of what you were just talking about, Jake, and you, Danny, in an interesting way, where he says, you want to see how the Saints feel right now? Just watch the locker room videos posted. Then dudes happy AF and believe in Peyton. Yeah. So, yeah, man, they got DeMario Davis, right? When DeMario, like, I'm not even going to speak those words out loud. They got DeMario Davis, okay? Right. That's all that matters. And that's what this team feeds off. Did you see, we need to play this. Did you see the pregame speech from DeMario the other day? Talking about before us, this city was here and everything. I mean, the dude is just, he's unbelievable. And this team will go as far as DeMario Davis goes this year. And that defense, which just got back Onyemata and just got back Marcus Davenport, and Adebo continues to play well. Roby is now starting to factor in as well. Like, this is a defense that the offense may not get too much better now. In fact, the offense will probably maybe even be worse times now than it was before, given that you no longer have Jameis. But the defense will get better. I think the defense has the opportunity to continue to get better, and I still believe that this is a playoff team. And I think you really, me personally, I know it's all function of expectations. when you're the first year out of your Hall of Fame quarterback, I'm going to say making the playoffs is a huge win. And so, like, if they could, especially, obviously, then in the context of what the Saints have gone through this year, like, that's why Sean Payton's being talked about as maybe coach of the year now. But, yeah, if they can get this thing done, and I can't wait for the journey. Like, I'm going to be strapped in for every week. We still have Lil Jordan Humphrey.
I do realize like what this means and the player that you're losing, but there's also something like you mentioned in the locker room and chemistry in the team that you've built through the offseason, through training camp, through this early portion to get to this halfway point. Like, there's a lot of NFL teams that have guys that, for whatever reason, they're injured, they sign big contracts, they just don't come back. I mean, if we would ask Flynn that, I'm sure he could have said 3 names. I could give you 3 names. Like, that stuff happens. And it might sound cruel, but you move on without them. You move on with who you have available. And you create that identity, which is so important in the NFL, with the guys that you have, the guys that have been there, the guys that you've grinded with every single day to get to that point.
And so in that vein, it's probably kind of nice, too, to now have a finality to this situation, right?
Yeah.
Like now everybody.
No more wondering.
Yes, like now Marquez Callaway is like, oh, no, okay, I have to be the best version of myself. Deontay Harris says, oh, no, I have to be the best version because Superman ain't walking through that door anymore.
And they've tried to sign some guys. They tried to sign Chris Hogan from a lacrosse team. They signed Kevin White from the streets.
Hey,
they've got Kenny Steele back. Like,
let's go. Kevin White, leading receiver against the Super Bowl champs.
1 for 38, right?
Let's go.
So look, that's who they are, and that's okay. It's okay that they completed over 20 passes, and the leading receiver in those 20 whatever passes had 38 yards on 1 catch.
Hell yeah!
That formula for this team works. Now, there's other formulas that we could, like Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp's going to set like every single record ever. And that's the way that they do it. But when you look at it, that's not the only model you have to follow to be successful.
Do you think so? And all this talk of chemistry and needing a wide receiver, although ultimately it sounds like the Odell thing blew up over money, is part of the reason maybe why the Saints are a little hesitant too. Like, it's a big personality to bring into a stable locker room situation. And I don't want to act like I'm casting stones at Odell, because in my firsthand experience with him, he was an incredible teammate and like just was working constantly, right? Now, granted, I don't think freshman year college Odell is the same thing as Odell Beckham now, obviously. But like, so I don't want to. I never had any negative experience with him. It's just a big personality. Like, regardless of how you feel about him, to drop into a very tight knit locker room right now. Or does that not matter? Does that not matter? That's all matter. Because look, Deshaun Jackson just got cut by the Rams.
Yeah.
He just got waived. Like, why shouldn't the Saints go pursue Deshaun Jackson?
They absolutely should.
Yeah.
I think they should. I mean, just to add another body, because look, you've shown that you're willing to add pieces. I just listed the pieces that found their way to New Orleans, and they weren't the most intriguing pieces when you added them. So, yeah, why not go add a veteran receiver to this group? That's completely fine. We're talking about quarterback, and should you add a quarterback? This is a little tongue-in-cheek, but it's not. Nobody knows how to throw to an undrafted free agent rookie like Phillip Rivers. I promise you. True. I mean, you would look up, and all 5 guys en route would be undrafted free agents sometimes in San Diego.
Which, I mean, I'll never forget the box score where I think Drew Brees threw touchdowns to, like, I don't know, it was like Garrett Griffin or something, Dan Arnold. I'm
Kirkwood.
Yeah, Keith Kirkwood was one of the names in that list.
Austin Carr.
Austin Carr was the other one. It was 4 just random like word salad names. It wasn't Griffin. It was a no-name tight end, number 45, but I can't remember who. I can't remember who.
Might as well have been Griffin.
Yeah, exactly. For the point that Jake was making, yeah, the Breeze used to do that too. So.
Also, I think Odell would have fell in line with the team culture. I remember Chad Ochocinco went to the Patriots like in the hay of his personality.
That's completely fair. That's completely fair. And look, like I said, Odell was always an excellent teammate in my experience. So a little bit of a bummer that you couldn't get him now. I had one more thing to say, but I'm not remembering. So we can go ahead and go to break. And we'll return more next. What happened to Dan Arnold? Dan Arnold's in
Carolina. No, he got traded. Then he got traded again.
Phoenix.
Jacksonville.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's in Jacksonville.
Yeah. Phoenix. That's a long time ago. There's Arizona now.
You're thinking of Zach Ertz, I think, T-Bob.
They used to be the Phoenix.
Do they still
Cardinals.
play in Phoenix?
No, they play in Glendale.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which, I mean,
I think their stadium.
You know what
University
that probably is, dude? It's what we talked about the other day. That's a Madden 64 thing. Right? I had no idea that they didn't have the real licenses for all those teams. Yeah, I had no idea they didn't have the real licenses. This is my entire life. I had no clue.
Yeah.